Okay, so these are my thoughts on AEW Revolution's MJF versus CM Punk, the dog collar match. And um, how can I say this? This match was looking good. Look, I didn't get a chance to see CM Punk in Ring of Honor, um, or anything really, and I had heard of him, and I didn't watch him in WWE at all. Did because I was done with WWE by the time he got there. I I knew he was a indie legend. The matches he had with Samoa Joe and some I heard with AJ Styles and stuff. I was like, he's wrestling these guys, and I knew about those guys. So I was like, okay, CM Punk must be something awesome. And then I heard about him. I was clicking through channels once, and here comes CM Punk to the ring. He's straight edge and yada yada yada. And I was like, oh, cool, okay. So he's not doing any drugs or alcohol or anything, and he's gonna, live by a strong code. There was somebody else that did that, so yada yada. I was like, I thought about Hulk Hogan and stuff, but I knew that CM Punk was more legit. Hogan was just, a liar. And so it's weird. I had heard so much about CM Punk over the years that I felt like I must have watched thousands of his matches. And I hadn't. So seeing him in AEW when he first got here, I was like, oh, this is what he looked like. I remember some scraggly haired kid ages ago, so all right. And MJF, I seen him in MLW and whatnot. So, and with the I can't remember the name of the group, something Diamond something, with Hammerstone and whatnot. So I was like, all right. So I got to see how he was as a leader / co-leader there, and I've seen CM Punk here wrestling, and I followed MJF per se followed, and so I'm like, okay, it's all good. And I seen how the rivalries built up for this dog collar match, and that's all good. So I'm interested in seeing this match. So MJF come out teasing the the CM Punk, but it cuts to his music. He's got on new robe, new gear, and it looks nice. MJF is always styling and whatnot, so all right, that's cool. He's gonna rock that scarf pattern and everything, so he just must love it, or he's getting paid or something. So he come out. Then it's CM Punk's turn, and CM Punk, he's got like a big match title intro or something like that, and I'm like, okay. And the crowd is with it. They know the music, they know the lyrics, they know everything, and I'm like, to me, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I know it's a big deal, but I didn't grow up with that, or I wasn't acute to that. So, all right. But no big deal. I know what this guy's about. I know how he get down. So it doesn't distract anything. It's all good. I'm not distracted by it. I'm still focused on how they're going to work this dog collar match. It's a cold intro for me for CM Punk. And even though it's a cold intro, I was like, he's getting me a little pumped. Okay, I'm feeling this. All right. So I'm waiting on it. So they hook them up. The match starts. They get started. They're, trying to get this thing they're letting you all know, hey, there's a limit to how far you can go. They express to you, they educate you on the match quickly. Hey, this is as far as you can go, and these are the tiniest little tricks of the trade you can do with the chain. Tiniest little thing to show so much damage and whatnot. So they get that over. And then they start getting into the match, and MJF, he does the beg off thing. Punk is like, I don't care about that. And they get started, and it's a heavy, intense match. They did really good. I thought they did great with this match. They built up. Punk was bleeding. He was wearing the crimson mask. He's, almost Great Mooted out. And it was, I was into it. I'm just watching it. I'm not even, oh, this looks dumb. No, I was like, this is good. They was trying their various ways to use the chain as a weapon. Around the fist, elbow, knee, things like that. And the match was great. They've got a serious weapon with that chain, and they can choke each other out with those collars. So there's so much that they can do. And then, despite all this, as some would say, it's a hat on the hat. MJF go out, get this big satchel, and I'm like, oh crap. It's thumbtacks. I know it's thumbtacks. I'll be honest with you, when he came back in, I said, oh, it's the Abyss special. And then, the special of every other indie show. Thumbtacks. That's dangerous. So many people use it. No one goes to the hospital. So, what's the point of them? I know they sting. I know they hurt. I've stepped on one. I've fallen onto one before. Yeah. And falling onto a lot of them, I'll say this with thumbtacks, it's better for them to stick in you than it is to fall on that hard, broad edge. It's better to get stabbed than to fall on that edge. I thought that was dumb. It took away from the match. It wasn't needed. You've already got a serious weapon, and they still hadn't utilized that chain thoroughly. I mean, they could have used. Why not use the chain in the middle of the ring? Body slam them on it. MJF, they got their finishers per se, or set up the finishers except Punk. But why not use the chain to wrap around the arm and fulcrum Punk's arm back? Wouldn't have taken much. You already got it. Why not put him in a camel clutch and beat him in the back of his head? Why not wrap it around your foot and stomp on his face? Why not do that stuff? Try it around your foot, stomp on his ankle, stomp on his elbow, stomp on his ribs. It's a chain. There's too many ways to use it. Too many ways. Wrap it around your thigh. Use a back breaker, a rib breaker, a shin breaker. Get creative. Mutual assured destruction to assure the absolute damage of your opponent. It seems like they lost the creativity of the dog collar match. Wrap it around, get a hold of that chain, hold them behind you, and do that standing shoulder net breaker, or the rude awakening, as some is more popular to know it. I mean, wow, right? Wrap it around the small of the back, pick them up and suplex them. There's too many things that you can do. And they got to add thumbtacks. I'm like, oh crap. This went into the toilet. And then people was getting bored. It's like they was enjoying the carnage, but it shows that the other level of the education of wrestling fans, they're Roman leaders. They don't care about what makes a fighter a fighter. They just want to see the Lions maul them. And if the Lions ain't mauling them, then it's meaningless and they're bored. Every move has to be a thumbs down, basically. And that's sad. That's sad. But then Wardlow comes out. MJF is screaming for him. He comes out. Wardlow, he looks so cool in the suit. Wardlow got that awesome facial expression of, yeah, this is happening, or I'm bored, something like that. That's what Wardlow has. And when he gets to the ring, he still got that look, like, yeah, this is what's happening in my life. Go figure. So, MJF, give me the ring. And he's like, oh no, I'm sorry about you two getting married since the Valentine, but I don't know where I put it. I lost it, Mr. Groom. And he's like, you got one job. He gets yanked back, popped, go to sleep. He's done. He's in the thumbtacks. He's all jacked up. Wardlow's like, oh, excuse me, sir, but it was in my other pocket. I have now retrieved such a thing. The item is now known. And then he shows it to Punk, and the crowd reacts. They starting to pop. Is it going to happen? You can hear the tension building, and then he puts it on the ring. He puts the ring on the ring, and the crowd loses it. CM Punk is like, a gift from the heavens. And Wardlow turns and walks away, and I'm like, that is one of the coolest exits in wrestling I've seen. Just cooling them up, man. And Punk gets the ring on, and he's like, yeah, buddy. And then he starts to stall. And I'm like, man, you better not do that stupid, I am the face. Should I or should I not? I'm like, man, you do that, I'm about to fast forward this damn who wins. Because that was about the last straw for me. But he didn't. He gets MJF up. MJF is like, screw you. And spits at him. And Punk is like, okay, pop. Lays him right out. 1, 2, 3. You know, I thought that was good. One other spot in the match I thought was good. MJF rolled out the ring sort of in the beginning. And he's like, give me the fucking mic. I was like, oh, whoa. You know, you could hear it. You know. And the crowd reacted to that. He gets the mic and he's like, tell him you're going to quit. Just like you did on me. Like you quit on me. And I like that he carried that out. That was a good thing. Eat shit, Max. It sounded so pesky. Eat shit, Max. The crowd got into that. That was another spot where Max was on the rope with the mic, and Punk yanked his ass off the middle turnbuckle. I thought that was funny. The crowd got a laugh out of that. So it was 90% a great match without the thumbtacks. If you remove the thumbtacks and they had better creativity, it would have outdone the original. It would have been worth it and far more memorable. But out of everything they've done with this, and it sucks, Wardlow's match-ending moment, you know, giving the item to Punk instead, basically washing his hands of MJF, and the fallout of that should happen Wednesday. If there's no fallout, then they're just dumb. But, and that could be MJF's new rival, if they're smart. And Punk can start chasing after the AEW title. If they had just stayed away from the thumbtacks, it would have been a good match, a quality match, through and through. And if they were creative with that chain instead of just getting by, getting juice, I think the match would have been one of those memorable things. But everything they did with the dog collar, everything they did with the chain, everything that they went over, and all the yelling and the trash talking and the bleeding is all erased, because people will only remember Wardlow, the ring, and Punk. They will only really remember the last 20 seconds of that match. And to me, that's sad, because they messed each other up. All in all, I'll remember the match a little bit, but I think in about a week or so, it's going to be just gone. It's just going to be gone. It's just going to be another match. So far, the pay-per-view is like, I don't know. It's like only 3 good matches, roughly thereof. I say good. With the ladder match being very, very, very decent. But it's pretty much like their other shows where you might have 10 matches, but only 3 are going to be great, and that's in comparison to the others, and then you're not going to remember them. So that's what's sad about this, because this could have been a classic. This could have been a real good classic. So CM Punk, he won. The good guy wins, and yeah, he should win. He should. MJF has upstaged him every step of the way, and this is how it needs to be. It's just that it's just not crowd they're not gonna remember this match in 20 minutes. The fans will not remember it. I like the celebration, twirling of the chain, little madman like Bruiser Brody, like Stan Hansen and whatnot. You got to remember Stan Hansen doing it. So this is why it's a sad era for wrestling. But what's going to change it has to be internal. Right now, the most memorable thing out of this, Cargill and Ty Conti kissing. That'll be the most memorable thing for me. They pretty. Kiss on. It. So, thank y'all for listening, and take care, and see you next time if another match catches my eye.